Welcome back, man. What's going on? To the All Day with JJ platform, podcast, page, whatever you want to call it. I'm your host, JJ, and don't forget, if you're just now checking in, to like, subscribe, and share this video. So let's go ahead and dive into it. First and foremost, man, shout out to LSU Ladies Sports. Y'all were dogs this past weekend, man. To kind of break into it, LSU Ladies Basketball Tigers, they went crazy, went off in the NCAA tournament, actually beat Iowa in a national championship game. Shout out to Angel Reese, just to give you some of the stats, man. Angel Reese had 34 double-doubles on the year, which I think is an NCAA record. She also had, 15 points, 10 rebounds, and 5 assists and 3 steals in the national championship game. 6 of those rebounds were actually offensive. Carson came in and dropped 21 points in the first half after going 0 for 15 in the first 3 games, which I think is a spectacular stat. You came and you shut out in the most important game of the season. And then Alexis Morris, man, if you haven't already seen the game, if you want to go back and look at the replays, bro, she went off in the fourth quarter. She had a total of, I think, 21 points and 9 assists. But in that fourth quarter, man, she was playing off the screens and coming and hitting crucial elbow jumpers, which were great. And not only that, she was also tasked with guarding none other than Caitlin Clark from Iowa, who, if I'm sure everybody who's already tuning in already knows about Caitlin Clark. Caitlin Clark had 30 points, 8 assists, and 4 rebounds, just to give you insight in a national championship game of how much of a dog she is. She basically put women's basketball on the map from a collegiate standpoint, I think, in my opinion. So shout out to Alexis Morris for guarding Caitlin Clark and to kind of break into the trash talk and all that stuff that's going viral with Angel Reese, man. I think everything that she did was valid and warranted, bro. I'm always here for trash talk. I'm here for bragging rights. I'm here for all of that, bro. I think that's a major point of how you wear your emotions on your sleeve, and I think that's good for women's sports, and I also think that's just good for sports in general. Dave Portnoy came out and he commented on it and said that Angel Reese was classless, and he caught a lot of flack for it. Even people like Shaq responded to him, and I think, Dave Portnoy is out of line. I think everything that Angel Reese did was, it's cool. It's what comes with the game, and I respect it, and I love it. And of course, I'm an LSU man. I'm purple and gold purple and gold through and through until the day I die. So I support it, bro. Speaking into other LSU women's sports, man. Shout out to LSU gymnastics again. I just shot a video on gymnastics in general. If you haven't already saw that, pause this video and go back and check that out, man. LSU gymnastics came up big yet again. But in this case, it was a regional showdown against Denver, Michigan, and Oregon State. To give you insight, going into it, Oregon State was ranked number 11. I think Denver was ranked 14. Michigan was ranked 3, and LSU was ranked number 6. And to give you the final score breakdown, Denver, ranked 14, actually ended up winning with a 197.875. LSU got a 197.75. Michigan got a 197.75. There's a tiebreaker in there that I'm going to talk about here pretty soon. And then last place was Oregon State with a 197.65. So first and foremost, before I get into the tiebreaker, I just want to talk about Denver. Like I said, Denver was ranked number 14 coming into that regional showdown. And so that means if you haven't already, like I said, shout out a second time, if you haven't already looked at the video that I just recently shot with my first co-host, I would suggest that you go in and check that out, man. Denver, being the least ranked or the last ranked coming into that tournament, actually had to finish on beam, which is arguably one of the hardest events to finish on, especially physically and mentally. And they actually, going into it, they had 148.25 in comparison to Michigan and LSU's 148.325. So they were going in it behind and actually ended up coming into beam the last event and finishing out strong. Check out some of these scores, man. They had a 9.975, a 9.99 or 9.95, a 9.95, a 9.9, and they had 2 9.85s, which are stupid spectacular if you look at the difficulty as far as finishing off on beam as well as just in beam in general, bro. So shout out to Denver for coming in and being strong and showcasing that it doesn't matter what rank you are, you can come in and still shock the world. But looking into that tiebreaker, man, LSU and Michigan actually tied with a 197.75, but LSU ended up prevailing because the way it works in gymnastics, you have 6 girls who go up and they compete in a specific event. Usually one of those scores is dropped depending on if it's the lower score. But if there's a tie, then there's a tiebreaker that has to get involved where you got to count all the scores. So Michigan actually ended up losing because they had some falls along the way. So shout out to LSU women's gymnastics, man. punching their ticket for nationals, bro. Only the top 2 teams at the regional showdown make it to nationals. So shout out to LSU sports in general, LSU women's sports in general, bro. Holding it down for the purple and gold. Go Tigers. You see the jersey. So you know I'm here to support it, bro. Moving on, going into the NBA right now, I think we might be 4 or 5 games away for each team before you enter into NBA playoffs, which is gonna be spectacular, bro. To talk about specific teams that I like, I brought into the first sports video podcast that I basically was going to talk about the Mavs and the Lakers, 2 of the teams that I love. Me being from Dallas, I'm always going to talk about the Mavs, and then just being a Lakers fan in general, bro. The Mavericks were actually eliminated from playoff contention after they just lost to the Bulls, 115 to 112. And if you look at the Mavericks organization right now, a lot of you who follow NBA, you know that they just had a blockbuster trade between bringing Kyrie Irving in and letting go Dorian Finney-Smith and Dinwiddie. And I was one of the first to say I think that I did not like the trade. I didn't think it was going to work out because Dorian Finney-Smith was one of the best D and 3 wings in the NBA, and I thought he brought a lot of defensive stability to the Mavericks, who were already an offensive-heavy team. And then Dinwiddie, of course, had already showcased his abilities back in Brooklyn to be a go-to guard. And with them being eliminated from playoff contention, bro, I'm just going to sit on here and say I felt like I saw it coming, and I'm going to actually drop a hot take right now. A lot of people are fearing that Luka is going to demand a trade here in 2024, the summer of 2024, which is something the Mavericks front office and fan base needs to be on the lookout for. But if you want to be honest, bro, I think Luka might be the problem. Jason Williams came out and said that Luka's got to step up if he wants to be a leader in order to put the Mavericks on a pedestal to become superior and to become like a utopia in the NBA. But if you really want to get into the nitty gritty, bro, if you look at the Mavs offensive possessions, Luka's going to have the ball, of course, because he's one of the best offensive scorers, not only in the NBA, but also in the Mavericks organization. But if you look at the offensive breakdown of the Mavericks play style, bro, Luka will come down with the ball in his hands in the court. If he can't create a shot or get to a shot within the first 18 to 20 seconds, which is basically the entire shot clock, he will dish the ball off to somebody else within the last 4 to 5 seconds and have them to try to create like an snapshot. And I think that kind of is hindering the offensive play style for the Mavericks. So I'm going to sit on here and say a hot take that I think Luka actually might be one of the major problems of the organization that the front office has to take a look into if you really want to develop into another championship contender team like the Mavericks were back in 2011. In other news, let's go ahead and talk about some of the other teams that I care about, like the Lakers, bro. They actually ended up just losing to the Clippers. If you want to listen to a hell of a stat that's going to blow your mind, the Clippers have actually beat the Lakers in the last 11 appearances, and dating back since 2013 and 2014, the Clippers are 32-7, bro, against the Lakers. I was actually just at lunch with a buddy of mine, and he was talking about how the Clippers might be the new LA team. I still disagree because of all the media and the history surrounding the Lakers, but a 32-7 stat, Clippers versus Lakers, that is crazy, and that's wild. That's going to blow my mind. That's blowing my mind right now. I think that should blow your mind too. LeBron is now back. I think Anthony Davis is still playing. I think he's playing pretty good right now. Austin Reeves is actually grabbing a lot of media attention. I mean, he's now in the starting lineup, and they're arguably saying that he's going to be one of the highest free agents when he does become a free agent as far as caliber of players. And then the Lakers also just made a key move. They just picked up Tristan Thompson and I think Shaq Harrison right near the end of the postseason, which I think is going to be very beneficial and going to help out AD tremendously from a backboard standpoint. So AD can mainly just focus on, getting blocks in his offensive game. So that's a big move in my opinion. But right now the Lakers are sitting at number 7 in the West, more than likely looking like if they come out of the play-in, they might be facing up against the Memphis Grizzlies, which with Ja coming back and being a hot flyer that he is, are already another hot shot team. So the NBA is going to be exciting. Go ahead and check into that for the NBA playoffs, bro. Moving in to golf, man. The Masters are going on this weekend. It's Easter weekend. Happy Easter for those of you who are just now tuning in. Tiger Woods makes the cut 23 times in a row, bro. That's a hell of a stat. I think he's tied for the most consecutive cuts made. 23 times in a row, coming off the major car wreck that he just had. He actually ended up withdrawing from the Masters due to injury. I think he's probably still experiencing problems with his leg or his ankle. But even so, in his mid-40s, making a cut 23 times in a row at the Masters, which is considerably the mecca of all majors. That's pretty exciting. In other news, some other golfers who actually didn't make the cut. Justin Thomas, shout out to JT. I'm a big JT fan. And then Rory McIlroy, who was arguably, I think, the third or fourth favorite to win the Masters, misses the cut, man. And then you got guys like Sam Bennett, who's an amateur playing out of his mind, bro. I think he's tied for fourth right now. Going into Sunday, something like that. And then Brooks Koepka leading the way. I think he's 12 under right now. And, the PGA Tour and Live Golf, they're kind of going neck and neck, experiencing a lot of controversy from all those players at Live Golf. Brooks Koepka being one of them, guys like Dustin Johnson, Phil Mickelson. So if you aren't a golf fan, bro, a lot of people say the sport is boring. But if you start, playing the sport and then start actually tuning in and looking at behind the scenes, it is definitely exciting. Go check out the Netflix show that they got, Full Swing. I would definitely suggest that, bro. Golf is honestly not only one of the toughest sports, one of the most interesting. Moving on, bro, the UFC 287 was just last night. Israel Adesanya, the style bender, dog, comes back against Alex Pereira, I think, or the Poatan. I'm going to just refer to him as the Poatan in this, bro. Knocks him out in the second round. A lot of people don't know this, but they've got like a fight series of, I think last night was their fourth fight, and the Poatan has beat him 3 out of 4 times until last night, basically, bro. And prior to the UFC, the style bender Israel Adesanya, and he was a kickboxing professional, and he actually got knocked out twice. Or I don't know if he got knocked out twice. I know he got knocked out once for sure by the Poatan. And then, of course, in this past December, they had their first matchup in the UFC where the Poatan came in and basically was looking a little shaky through the first 3 or 4 rounds, but ended up getting the dub against Israel Adesanya. So last night, big win for the style bender. I know he's excited. I know he's feeling good. And I know there's definitely going to be a trilogy from a UFC standpoint. With the Poatan winning the first one and then Israel just winning last night, there's definitely going to be a trilogy. So check into the UFC, bro. Kevin Holland, also one of the another fighter fighting out of Fort Worth. Shout out to him, bro. He had a hell of a fight last night too. Was a pretty commanding victory. I think he was suffering some major leg kicks during the match, but he ended up coming in with a stupid hook. Knocked homeboy out pretty nasty. In other fight news, Shakur Stevenson also had a fight last night against, I want to say, Yoshiro, I think is his name. He knocked him out in 6, bro. Shakur Stevenson, man, I actually didn't even know who he was. I had to listen to a buddy of mine who's actually a rapper and a boxer out in the ATL. Shout out to Pharaoh Fresh. Check him out, bro. He put me on Shakur Stevenson, and he basically was like, yo, as far as a guy coming up from the featherweight, bantamweight division, going into the lightweight division, this guy might be one of the best boxers. Right now I think Devin Haney holds like the WBC and all the rest of the major fight titles right now in that division. But Shakur Stevenson coming on strong. And then, of course, you got some other big-name guys like Lomachenko, Ryan Garcia, and Tank Davis, of course. Ryan Garcia and Tank Davis are actually going to square off against each other, I want to say, April 22nd. I think Ryan Garcia is 23-0 and Tank Davis is 28-0, so boxing's coming back on the map. It might not be like the Ali Frazier times or the Sugar Ray Leonard times, but hey, Ryan Garcia is already a major media influence, considering the fact that he's got a major Instagram following. I think he does a lot of TikToks and stuff like that. And then Tank Davis, of course, is known for that stupid left uppercut that he has. So if you haven't checked into boxing in a while, bro, I think it'd be good for you to check into the April 22nd fight. They're doing some Showtime clips, man. You can find them on YouTube. 2 undefeated fighters that got a lot of media attention. It's going to be a good one. And then last but not least, bro, like I said last time in the first video that I shot, we're moving on into baseball season, bro. Opening day was March 30th. The 2 teams that I'm probably going to be focusing on are the Braves, considering the fact that I am in Atlanta. This is Braves country, as well as the Rangers, bro. I'm a Dallas native, so I'm going to shout out the Rangers as well. The Braves actually kind of have a hot start right now with Acuna leading off. I'm pretty sure he's the leadoff right now. I think he might have a batting average in the upper 300s or maybe the low 400s. The Braves are 6-3 right now in the NL East, bro, which is a pretty good start. In the Rangers are 4-4 right now in the AL West. Shout out to the Rangers. Shout out to Nathaniel Lowe right now. One of my fantasy starters, so I need him to do well. But yeah, bro, just to give you a little bit of insight of what's to come. And then, of course, like I said, man, there's so much sports going on. The NFL draft is going to be coming up here later in April. I'll be tapping into that. And when you look into these videos, man, whether you're listening in, you're watching, please comment and let me know your thoughts. I had a guy comment about the first video that I shot when I was talking about the draft combine, saying that how could you leave out Hendon Hooker? And I'm going to sit here and say, bro, Hendon Hooker is going to be a great pickup for whatever NFL team decides to grab him, whether it's late in the round, he's probably going to be a 4th or 5th round draft pick, maybe later than that, honestly. But you got teams like the Saints, even potentially the Cowboys that might pick him up and make him a backup, kind of how like the Packers did with Jordan Love. You got the Aaron Rodgers deal with him specifically wanting to go to the Jets and Jordan Love having to step up. I think Hendon Hooker is going to be a great type of quarterback that you bring into the organization who's going to be a backup for 2 to 3 years, and then he can become the focal guy. I mean, when he transferred to Tennessee before he got injured, he was a dog. I mean, you go look at the game against Alabama with Bryce Young, who I also said I think is probably the best prospect coming out of college football right now. If you go look at that game, you can really see Hendon Hooker's abilities and how he's able to actually be a pocket passer and stand in and make those strikes that are necessary. So the sports world is crazy, bro. There's a lot of stuff that's going on right now. Biggest takeaways that I can say, get into golf right now if you already aren't in there. Go ahead and check into the UFC as well as boxing, bro. There's a lot of major fights going in or coming up. And in my hot take, like I said earlier, bro, I want to say that the front office, I know the front office is probably already thinking about Luka Doncic for the Mavs, but Luka actually might be the problem. They might need to figure out a way to find a way to make Luka, I guess, fit in a little bit better fundamentally. I know Jason Kidd is the head coach there right now, so hopefully Jason Kidd can find a way to formulate a plan to get the Mavs playing better. But that's all I got for you today, man. Like I said, I want to keep these commentating podcasts kind of to a 15 to 20 minute minimum type of segment or maximum type of segment. So if you've got comments, man, don't be afraid to blow up that comment section. Leave your thoughts, bro. Hey, criticize me, whatever you want. I'm here for it. I'm here to get on here and deliberate and talk about it as much as possible. If you want to come on here and chime it up, bro, let me know. Especially if you're a homeboy of mine, I'm always open for conversation. Other than that, I will say this, I'm probably going to get ready to drop another episode talking about nationals coming here soon, and that's in relation to gymnastics because, shout out to women's sports, again, I think it's actually a time where you should get involved in women's sports too. I think that's coming on the map as well. And then the NBA playoffs, man, it's right around the corner, so we finna have some great, in-depth, detailed conversations, bro, so I'm excited. And as always, if you haven't already, like, subscribe, share, hit the bell, get notifications, whatever it may be. This is the All Day with JJ platform. I'm going to try to throw some comedy up here and there. So if you haven't, go follow me on Instagram and TikTok. That's where I'm going to be dropping my comedy skits and stuff like that. And all together, bro, stay safe. Happy Easter. Be blessed and stay tuned for more, bro. Until next time.